This video is brought to you by Organization Motivation in the Compson, Eannace, and Pierro law firm.
We're here today at the law office of Compson, Eannace, and Pierro, and with their partner, Paul Pimpinella. Paul, thanks so much for having us here today. Today's show is really to educate people about what they should do or start to think about getting their financial and their legal documents in order. I know it's a very scary thing for people, Paul, but I want to try to bring it down to a level where everybody can really understand, because all of these legal documents and jargon, it really can be kind of overwhelming for people. So let's talk about trust. What is a trust?
Sure. A trust is a legal document that an individual creates, and there are a lot of benefits to trusts. One benefit is asset protection. And again, with trusts, you have revocable trusts and you have irrevocable trusts. The asset protection is more the irrevocable trust. The other benefits for trusts are probate avoidance, which is a big issue for a lot of people because a lot of people have experienced going through surrogates court and dealing with the system. So with a trust, it's one of those great weapons in the arsenal of estate planning that helps you avoid probate, but at the same time creates the smooth administration of your estate.
Okay, so if is there anybody in particular that should get a trust? Should it be a young family that maybe just had a child? Should it be an older person that's heading towards retirement? Who can benefit from a trust?
Sure. There are a lot of reasons why somebody would get a trust. One of the main reasons have to be tax planning, because a trust can severely either eliminate or reduce the taxes that your family would have to pay upon your death or upon a spouse's death. So there are many different situations when a trust would come in play. I would say that typically it occurs more later in life for people once they start to develop a little more wealth. But again, if they've had experiences with probate, a trust is one of those great techniques that could help you avoid having to go through the system.
Okay, now I know with a will you have an executor or executrix. Who handles and administers the trust? Sure.
With a revocable trust, even if you become incapacitated during your lifetime, you appoint a successor trustee who steps up in your place and manages their assets during either your incapacity or following your death. So it's somewhat like a will, however, it's something you set up that's a living document during your lifetime and that can help manage your assets during your disability and immediately following your passing.
Okay, so for people that really are afraid to get started, what would you suggest? Maybe we should talk about what happens if you don't have it.
Sure. If you don't have either a will in place or a trust in place, or even something as simple as a power of attorney, there are a lot of negatives that can occur, especially if the administration of your estate you would want it to go to your spouse. If you don't do the planning, then the state is really going to determine where your assets go. And not everything would really go to your spouse if you don't have a will or a trust in place, let alone passing your estate on to your children. So it's so important that you actually prepare those documents, have an attorney prepare those documents for you so you can dictate how your estate is administered as opposed to leave it to the default rules of New York State.
Okay, what I usually talk about with my clients is being proactive instead of reacting. So obviously getting a trust or a will is being proactive, protecting your family, protecting your finances, and your children's or your estate's future.
Yes.
That's a good way to describe it. Okay. Yes. Now, if somebody was going to come into you, obviously they're going to be very nervous. What should they do, and what should they bring, and how could they start the process with you?
Sure. Well, at Compson, Eannace, and Pierro, we offer a free consultation to all first-time meetings. So when you come in for the first meeting, I would say that you really don't have to bring anything specific with you, but it would help if you had a general idea of the value of your estate, how you would like your assets distributed to your children or to charities or to other individuals, people that you care for and want to pass on your estate to. So there's really no specific thing you need to bring in other than to have a basic understanding of what your estate is, what you have, and how you would like it distributed, and that can help the process go much smoothly.
Okay, and I know you and I, when we met initially, we talked about Medicaid, that has become a big issue. Can you talk about that in relations to a trust?
Sure. Now we're talking about more the irrevocable trusts. And with the way the state right now is changing the Medicaid laws and the way that the state can recover money paid on your behalf, and this really comes into play with long-term care and people going into a nursing home. Because as you know, nursing home care now is around $8,000 to $10,000 a month.
Very expensive.
Yes, so very few people can afford to privately pay for for an extended amount of time. So that's where Medicaid comes in. Well, now the state is changing the laws of Medicaid on how they can recoup the assets they paid on your behalf. So life estates, for instance, are no longer a good planning technique.
Oh, okay.
And although the regulations are not finalized yet, which they should be probably around June, even joint tenants accounts where people are joint on the account might be at play. So the state can actually recover those assets following your death.
Well, we hope we've given you enough information today about trust to really start thinking about your financial future and making plans to protect it. So contact Paul Pimpinella at the law firm of Compson, Eannace, and Pierro. You can reach him at 724-5147 or on the firm's website, ceplaw.com. Thank you so much, Paul, for having us. I really appreciate it, and I really think that you've helped inform our viewers.
Thank you.